say it.
But, you know, I'm getting conflicting messages about the actual pronunciation of this
It's
card.
totally Bahamas. It makes sense. You play the card, the animation happens, a big flash of sunlight, everybody gets sunburned, and they have to go inside, put on some aloe vera.
You know, I've never been to the Bahamas before. I've never that experience. Also, never been sunburned. But maybe
You've never been sunburned?
No, I've never been sunburned. I've been blessed with the skin of a dragon, I suppose. Do dragons get sunburned? That's a good question.
Probably not. They don't. They have armor.
They have scales. All right. Ooh, look at this.
Double
right off the
sword.
bat. Swordcraft mirror. All right. All right. Who's going first? Who's going second? This is going to be interesting. Look at that. Those mulligans. Got the maid leader. Oh, Fangblade Slayer. Okay.
Man, this is a throwback to Rise of the Bahamut. Fangblade Slayer.
Fangblade Slayer is an interesting card, usually for late game oriented decks, of course, with the 8-play point, but it gives some guaranteed value just by, if you swing at a follower, that damage will instead be put onto the leader. Start out with the female Stormblader right there.
I really like the hand from Runier. Having made leader on turn 2 is going to be absolutely crucial. We're going to see if he's going to play at this turn and get Albert in his hand. I think that's the goal. That's what he wants. But still a difficult hand. The Quick Blader, or the female version of the Quick Blader, is not going to have the best choice. He's either going to have to not attack or go for face, and then he's just going to heal up for 2 anyway.
TAG. I believe it's Katana Unsheath. Is a veteran Lancer, of course. Solid card, but I feel like that Unica was really great. I mean, caught up, didn't get board wiped, the Quick Blader didn't swing, and now you can play the maid leader. That's great. Pulls you and Albert. Fantastic. Exactly.
Trading Unica into the veteran Lancer, and Noah was able to get the maid leader on the board first, which I think matters a lot.
It's interesting here, 2 Fangblade Slayers. But I feel like the curve is looking real good, actually, for Noah here. You've got Geno, then you've got the Luminous Mage, which we talked about a little bit. Fantastic card. And then, well, I guess no real good 6-drop, but
he's got options. He could play Luminous Mage or Albert if he wants to really dig in that base damage. He's taking some damage here, but Geno's definitely going to clear the board, have a big, beefy follower
that's
to have to deal with.
Leno. We should just start calling him Leno.
Jay Leno?
Jay Leno.
He's got a snout that's kind of like a chin, right? That's what Jay Leno's known for.
Yeah. Chinny chin chin. All right. First evolve point being played on the Grimner.
Man, what a value out of that Grimner if he attacks Jay Leno there. He's going to have 1 point of health, which doesn't look like much. Obviously, a Quick Blader could deal with that. But that's 1 whole attack that Albert's not going to be able to go for face with this turn.
Full soul swing. Easy choice to remove the 4 damage. Doesn't have to trade a card into it, so you're going to be avoiding a lot of that. And the Angel of the Word. What is the word?
The bird is the word.
It's the bird. But in this case, it was the death of a poor little Quick Blader there. Nice. Luminous Mage gets played. Free evolve. There's just so much value you get out of Luminous Mage. The free evolve point, basically playing a rush follower, and you can choose to use the more beefy card, or if you want a little more precision, put it on the Luminous
It's
Knight.
the Swordcraft version of Aaron.
The great thing, too, is it's also just that AoE buff that's so valuable for Swordcraft decks, I feel like. Just across the board, +1 damage when you evolve the Knight is great.
Noah's got the enhanced Jay Leno if he wants to trade that into the Mage and then attack the Knight. That would clear the advantage. He wouldn't have any more commanders on the field. And he would have 2 Knights himself with the Knights left over from Leno.
Gonna opt to play the Mage instead.
Yeah, having the free evolve point definitely going to help more in the long run when you want to save those evolve points for an Albert on turn 9.
Right now, evolve is so valuable for Swordcraft, especially with Albert in hand. Runier still has not drawn an Albert, so turn 9 might actually be tough. And because Noah went first, turn 9 is coming first, right? So he's actually going to be able to swing for 10 if he opts to do so, if the board state is that way for him. And being able to play Luminous Mage means you can kind of get that, maintain that board control, that tempo, without spending resources that you're going to want to spend on Albert instead.
And you mentioned the fact that he's going first, so he's going to have turn 8 first, which means that's going to be 5 damage and a cleared follower if he elects to play Fangblade Slayer, which he's got 2 in his hand.
Yes.
I think that'd be an absolutely stellar 8 play, followed by the 10 damage from the evolved Albert. And Runier, he's got Alwedas.
Yeah. It's good kind of taking up board space. And I really think it's interesting here. Runier has been able to get some good face damage and will continue to do so, where I feel like that's kind of a situation that Noah wanted to be in, right? Face damage is very valuable for Noah because you got that 10 smack on turn 9. So if you can put Runier in a dangerous spot, then he has to change up his line of play to protect himself and to kind of play around the fact that he could have just his life ended right when it hits that 9 play point territory. But as it stands, we have Noah playing on the back foot here, down to 11 health. And that's real dangerous.
Yeah, we saw Noah using the Angel of the Word to clear board instead of going for face. But Runier's going for full face damage. And I think it's paying off for Runier even more. I mean, obviously, if you look at the points, there's 20 health for Runier and 11 health for Noah.
Gonna play Albert here early. He really wants a board clear, and I don't blame him for that because you don't know what Runier has in hand, right?
That's right.
Not really sure how much damage he's packing.
He could have Tsubaki in his hand, for example. And having an Albert with 5 attack damage, that's a prime target for anyone's Tsubaki.
Gosh, and another Alwidas. That's a lot of actual board control, and the Alwidas into the Fangblade can actually be very dangerous here. Of course, you have to consider how you want to remove that Albert. It's a little awkward.
Because on the next turn, Noah has got the evolved Fangblade Slayer that I think we're going to see. And there's not a perfect curve for Runier to play on this turn. It's either a 6 Alwidas, a Leno, or a Lyrial Crystal Archer. He's definitely not going to go for that card.
I mean, I feel like the likelihood is that Runier will be able to survive kind of 2 turns before Noah plays his heavy cards. And being that Noah's at 7 health, not very concerned, right? You've got 5 damage already from the Fangblade Slayer as long as you keep Albert alive. And now that he's played his own Fangblade Slayer, basically having a follower on the board is a free 5 damage for Runier.
He's got 1 point of damage from Maid Leader and 5 points of damage from Fangblade Slayer if he wants to play it this turn. That's going to be 1 damage short. So he's not going to have lethal this turn. He's not going to be able to finish the game off just yet.
It might be worth it just to put Noah further on the back foot, having to continuously throw his cards in as he gets them to survive. But on the other hand, you might want to chip away and wait for a ward card to come down, just to make sure that you counter the options that Noah has in hand. It's all it's all risk, right?
And of course, trading the Fangblade Slayer into another Fangblade Slayer will kill them both. They both have Bane.
Yeah. And so you lose that option almost immediately. And I mean, the rest of the cards in Runier's hand, actually not super great for the late game, right?
He's got a mage, though, and Runier doesn't have, or Noah has the mage, and Runier does not have the Luminous Mage. Having that extra evolve point is going to come in really crucial.
I like that. I like this play that Runier is going for. Of course, that's going to give an extra 3 damage, and against Swordcraft, it's real dangerous to take face damage, especially at the 9-10 play point territory towards the late game. And a second Fangblade Slayer in hand. Noah's got himself a really great situation. Gonna play the Jay Leno with the Enhance. Not gonna proc that last word, but I don't think he's super concerned about that. There's a lot of board control here. And
it looks like Runier's gonna take this. The evolved Fangblade Slayer and will destroy the ward. And then 1 attack from the Maid Leader, that's gonna be lethal right there. Next turn, if he's gonna evolve the Lancer, and that's gonna take out the Maid Leader. That's absolutely the right choice.
Yeah. And it's getting real close, I think. Let's see what the card draw is. Oh, Whole Soul. No.
Not the best value.
He lives 1 turn. So Noah will survive 1 turn here. Is there anything in Noah's hand? I mean, I guess if he draws Albert, right?
He's got Grimnir next turn, if he wants to get the full effect out of that. Before Runier has the chance.
It all depends on how much of this board can be cleared here. Because Runier can't go for the kill, now the tempo is on Noah's side. What is the play?
Grimnir will do 4 damage.
He's got 8 with Grimnir. And it's going to wipe the board. And Fangblade Slayer is still not in range.
Top deck, cross the fingers.
Talk about how quickly this game turned around, you know? And I actually don't think Runier playing that Fangblade Slayer early on would have really changed very much. I don't know. I'll have to see what that situation was. And now we have the arrival of Albert. He could be dropped, evolve, and take down both the Fangblade as well as Grimnir. Let's see if that's a choice here. He doesn't evolve, actually.
Well, but it's not going to take out the Fangblade because he didn't evolve it.
He didn't choose to evolve, unless he evolves it here. Yep, he's choosing to do so. Oh, that's a dangerous
And that's going to
situation.
leave his board completely empty.
That was fun for a change.
Yep. So his board is empty. Novice Trooper exists. Luminous Mage would give him 4 damage. Oh, Alweda's.
As soon as you drew
there it
Alweda's,
is.
just threw that on the field.
Yep.
That's going to be lethal.
Yep. Wow. My goodness.
Game 1 going over to Noah. What a turnaround.
MS Noah able to barely hang on in the late game. And I feel like, you know, one of the things about Sword is direct damage is actually not super common. And I almost feel like, how would the game have changed if Runier had put Noah at 1? I mean, what different decisions could have been made? Because he still ended up playing the Grimnir. I don't know if it was on that turn. There could have been at least 2 turns because 8 and 9 play points, and then there was one more turn, then 10, right?
You're right. Runier decided to hold on to the Fangblade Slayer, hoping that he would get that perfect damage, but the perfect damage never came. And now we're going into Game 2, MS Noah 1, Runier 0. We'll see if MS Noah can close this out or if Runier can come back and bring it 1-1.
You must die.
All right, MS Noah and Runier. Runier's gonna stay with the with the Swordcraft deck, and the alternate deck for Noah is gonna be Shadowcraft.
MS Noah drawing Catacomb and Orthros on the first turn.
2 big cards. Such a huge tempo shift. Oh, and the Shadow Reaper, but there doesn't seem to be good 1 and 2 drops for Noah to set that Shadow Reaper up. And again, we have 2.
And we've got Runier with the Katana Unleashed, Whole Sword Swing. Great 1-2 drops to gain the momentum in Runier's favor.
Gonna swing face again and play Luriel. And I like that. I think that's good. Don't play your whole souled sword yet. Whole souled swing. Just save it for a rainy day, if you will.
Noah kind of playing the same way he was playing last game, electing to go for control on the board rather than pure face damage.
And I mean that. How much closer can you make it, right? Right at the end there, when you were on the precipice of facing lethal, Noah was able to crawl his way back. Will that board control option work for him this time around? Now, typically, Swordcraft, I think, has a very difficult time against Shadowcraft, mainly because of Prince Catacomb. I mean, Swordcraft really has a hard time with AoE clear, you know, and we saw that in the last round in the mirror match. In this particular round, that situation is not getting any better for Runier.
And having Tsubaki in hand this early in the game is not the best that you could have hoped for. It could destroy something like an Ector or an Immortal Thane, if that's what Noah's got in his deck, but at this early stage in the game, the momentum is heavily in the favor of Noah.
3 damage skeleton. Evolve comes online for Runier. And let's see, he's got a bunch of people on horseback gonna play Jay Leto. Let's see. Doesn't have the last word on it. But certainly the skeleton is what holds the higher damage value. Gonna try to evolve, and so he's gonna the Levin Vanguard is gonna survive. 6-2.
Goblin Princess in the hand of Noah. I think getting the heavy ward in the hand would be great. He's gonna like to play the Bone Chimera and the Shadow Reaper, getting a lot of followers on the board to really beef up that Shadow Reaper, and not to mention clear the Jay Leno.
You get put into this really tough situation now where you kind of want to board clear, but the more you board clear, you're just buffing up the Shadow Reaper.
You're digging your grave even deeper.
And because of the ambush available, even if this was a situation where you could play Tsubaki, it's just there's no good way, particularly in hand for Runier, but just overall for Shadowcraft to remove that Shadow Reaper. And so you just kind of have to let those cards stay. Thankfully, 2/2/2 cards on the table is going to tide things over just a little bit, and having Unica is a good attraction for.
But it's just going to destroy those skeletons.
Yes. And that's essentially kind of the big issue with Shadow Reaper against Sword. Is that there's not really a good way. There it is, Cerberus. And he's got one play point.
If he uses Coco or Mini,
he could
Tsubaki's
take
in
board
hand.
control.
That will destroy the Shadow Reaper.
Yep, there it is. He opts for board control. And it keeps the Shadow Reaper on 4 damage. So Tsubaki will not proc the ability. Has to spend an evolve point.
What a great play. And he didn't know that Tsubaki was in hand.
He probably suspected that was a thing.
Mid-range sword definitely runs that card a lot.
I
so
mean,
very
Tsubaki
good
is
play.
such a great card. So has to spend the evolve to take down the Shadow Reaper. Now, Shadowcraft is sitting at 10 health, so...
Little Soul Squasher. That'll destroy the Pirate.
Let's see. Still holding on to Coco. Nice. This card is super effective. You get a lot of board space, and even if they take down the Princess, which has the majority of the damage, you get the 5/5 ward, making it ever more difficult for Swordcraft to climb its way back into the tempo game.
He's going to spend an evolve point on the Goblin to trade into the Viking, exhausting the options, clearing the board of Runier. Coco could still come out on Cerberus if he wants to get that extra 5 damage, putting him on 9 health.
And that's going to open up Tsubaki as a play. But I mean, the damage is already done, right? Cerberus already swung for 5. And just playing the Mimi, I mean, Cerberus has gained value already, you know. Fangblade coming up, but 1 turn away, and
Take my blade of resentment.
there it is. Take my blade of resentment.
Sorry, gotta go.
Take my blade of resentment.
Interesting that last turn, Noah elected to not use Soul Conversion on the Princess to gain the Goblin King immediately. Even though he had 1 play point left, and he would have drawn 2 cards, not to mention. Although next turn, he's completely dependent upon this next draw.
I think it's so interesting because it's very tempting to evolve and clear, but even if you do that, Soul Squasher comes in and just eliminates that card as an option or as kind of any kind of presence on the board.
Right, Runier must know that the Soul Squasher is in hand for Noah.
Yeah.
Must suspect it, at least.
For 2 costs, that's incredible.
2 cost, 4 shadows.
Not going to evolve, just going to hold.
No, Prince Catacomb with 3 followers on the board, that's going to get some insane value. Not to mention 2 Soul Conversion. He's going to get the chance to draw many more cards. Going for face is going to help bring this match to a close, but there's still a Fangblade Slayer in the hand of Runier and an evolve point.
That's 5.
And 4 damage from Tsubaki next turn. That's 9. Very close. Very close.
The Fangblade Slayer can serve double purposes, clearing the board as well as doing the damage to face. What is the play here? Shadow Reaper again.
Noah's trying to get the maximum efficiency from the cards he plays this turn. Playing Goblin King would be nice. Getting that ward, it'd feel really good. But the Fangblade Slayer is going to be able to clear that in a second. He doesn't even have to evolve it to get the 5 damage.
But can he clear the board enough to survive 3? Because as he kills followers, that Shadow Reaper is just getting more buff. There's no evolve for any removal opportunity. So he would have to be leveraging... Okay, but you have to play 8 play points, so you're not going to get a ward. I don't think there's a way out.
There's not a way out. I think Noah's going to be able to take this 2-0.
There's no way out here.
Was there a top deck that would have helped Runier in this situation? We don't know what his deck is. Would an Albert have saved him?
No,
because he wasn't on turn 9.
You don't have enhance. You need something. I almost feel like you need something like Front Guard General almost, you know? You just need to spam wards.
Maybe Cyclone Blade. We see that card in Runecraft decks a lot. But Tsubaki, it wouldn't have cleared off the Goblin General.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Runier tapping out.
Wow, 2-0 MS Noah. Swordcraft, Shadowcraft. We talked about a little bit the differences between Japan and the Western scene. Swordcraft is much more popular.